of the last little meditation spots I have. I'm not really at the exact location. I'm sticking with the federal jurisdictions on this. But here's a little something that's probably, I almost got rid of all of it. It's moss. It used to grow on everything I did. I actually like the look of that. It made it look like it was living ruins at that point. Especially since I've been going with more of a hybrid, alternative, and traditional lifestyle. Even being, pretty much, how to summarize it, being as what you would think as modern scientists would be, but not. And down to how these bugs find the right part of the leaf to eat, is down to how the solar energy hits it, plus the water distribution, static electrical conductivity, the entire plant structure. Well, there's already been studies that show that insectoid eyes can see those different types of patterns in the light, or deflections, etc. After all, they have a composite eye. It means multiple lenses. You think it's bright to us. But yeah. Well, that's the whole point. I went back to the basics with my science. I went back to the material itself. The elements even. Just even back down to simple fire, water, air, earth. Well, fire plus water equals air and earth. Dirt, if you want to go that simple even. Just saying. And that still is a feasible science at that point. When I went back to the physics side, I used Ohm's law, the electron, the proton, the neutron, and took years of just almost ignoring the principle that nothing sets the proportionate size of an electron. What is the proportionate mass, energy, and density of an electron that decides how much space it fills up with energy that's at a... For years, that bothered me. I ended up going with the proportionalities of the charge and density instead of trying to say, well, this is how big something is. Based upon that is how big it is. Yeah, it's kind of it's a shoddy, roundabout answer, but that's why I have the law of proportionality, which goes back to Newton's laws and Einstein's shit too, but a wave is a wave no matter what. Now, what determines that wave's characteristics is both the medium or material it's transferring through. That's like I could almost find the density of space because it takes 8 minutes for light to get from the sun to Earth. The density of space. Just using rudimentary equations at that point. Because no one bothered asking what the density of space was because they don't know what it is. It's been thrown into the equations with Einstein where it's space-time. And I looked at every independent variable where you can have time without space, but how'd you get space or time in the first place? literally brute force in some books is the method. Isolation of variables, constants, and their interactions, and map the whole damn thing out. And what I had was what I developed independently looks like the new standard model of particles there, subatomic particles. And I arrived at that from breaking apart basically hydrogen and energy cycles. That would be another thing, you know. I have to deal with not really deal with anything. See, down south there's an old saying, intelligence intimidates. The problem is I'm not too people smart. I'm more empathically aware, and you know, of such on that, or this, you know, how animal intelligence works. Well, I just see humans as a very smart thinking, self-aware animal at that point. Just barely climbing out of the perpetual jungle, effectively. I mean, if I say to one group as an example, that's more of an ultra-conformist when it comes to feelings, emotions, or vibes, or bioelectrics, the unspoken words even. There's another saying out of Europe called speaking in silence. It goes right next to thinking in silence. That's when you don't do any internal vocal monologuing in your cranium. So not everyone knows that people can do that. Just like not everyone has the ability to actually visualize the cartoon character they're drawing on the paper before they draw it on the paper. BBC did a whole article on the artists at Disney. Almost none of them can see the character before they put it on paper. It's like, that'd be like, for someone like me that uses visual memory like that, it would be literally like drawing a cartoon character out of the dark. In the dark. In the dark. That'd be like making Pixar's Toy Story in the dark. With no computers. Mind-boggling. Meanwhile, people like me that have visual memory, that's mind-boggling to people who don't. Because everyone's told what they're told. Everyone's told what they are. What's possible, what's not. Which kind of goes back to why I kept doing the rudimetric shit. Of saying, hey, that's what that whole apple of Eden was in the first place. Especially because I kept running into a lot of God junkies. Worse, they're Jesus freaks. You don't believe in Jesus as God, you're automatically devil worshiper, those kind of people. So when I turn around and say, well, what you think you know is the original sin in the first place. Because knowledge can be misled. Wisdom can be tainted. Comprehend that. since I'm taking a moment to kind of contemplate and reflect on living situation, where I want to take my story of life at this point, or if I want to just throw the dice, see where I land. Next order of business is probably dumpster diving a half-decent pizza or something to eat. I could have grabbed it out of the damn dumpster this morning, but as you saw in the video I already uploaded, a little too late. I was just waking up on a first cup of coffee done. I couldn't get another one around, so screw it, went to bed. And people thought I was an insomniac. Without... That's even the wrong context, the way some of these people add things together. I was about to say the only thing... I'm looking for better ways to say things if you can't tell. It takes work. Found a little meme that has you know, the book geeks with their glasses on, people who read, and then it has the same two people, only their hair is all crazy and shit. Looks like they haven't slept for a month. People who write. I look like I'm right in between that. Well, I actually use my Facebook for creative writing. And I got a more professional version of the rough draft is mainly the same Facebook on that. Then I take the more professional material, or the heavy hitters, and I take it over to Twitter. And in between that, I'll make a couple videos actually trying to test the concept like a social engineer. It's like my spare change relief fund out there. Me leaving extra change at the counters. After COVID, they took all the dang change trays out. So I just started giving change anyway. Oh, I could be walking around with a rake here soon, but the trees aren't quite ready for that. Maybe a couple of them are, but at least walk around with a rake. I gotta do stuff that's low powered and all that with status epilepticus. Good news, YouTube. After the 20th, that won't be a problem anymore. Well, at least be able to get to the bottom of it. I can finally see the neurologists that I have referrals for already. You know, instead of people thinking I'm either crazy or high. That's why I was out there going, well, where the hell's my YouTube ticket? You know, soliciting my YouTube ticket. Not like I'm monetized or anything, but a couple little touch-ups, and how I've been going through and retitling and adding descriptions and everything. I mean, 7 years worth of frickin' videos, and I only had about a year and a half of computer time to even sit there and start going through and redoing everything on it. So everything was limited space, on the fly. Some of it scripted, some of it not. In fact, that's reality check live and unscripted. 9 times out of 10, that's why I call it reality check. I do try to boil down some base point lines to speak about beforehand, but that's about it. I think regurgitate my damn self at that point. I just don't know what to do when basically I'm just surrounded by turkeys. But at least I've met a couple of really cool people outside of that little circle. And that's their reality, that's their world. How do I know when their reality want to jump up in mine? Because they sit there and start asking me questions like, how did I get that coffee? How do I got weed? How did I get food? What's it fucking to you? It's my attitude. Because some of it's a trade secret. Some of it is my 7 years worth of goddamn actual footwork, integrity, reputation, and respect. You know, I paid for this coffee, my 7 years worth of fucking respect did. 7 years worth of fucking reputation. It could go for any time on that. It's called being real, trying to actually do something instead. And then you watch these people try to get some extra dollars for their hidden drug habit or something. I'm like, yeah, that's why I started the my little crackhead patrol, taking their lunch money. Man, come on. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna turn around and get something to eat, some weed. I got seizures. Life-threatening ones. And if I have one, there's a 50-50 chance I don't get back up. And then I'm surrounded by people who don't realize there's different little tricks to keep and maintain consciousness, conscious awareness. It's like there's little tricks when you got an injury, you hit yourself somewhere you don't, and the body can't tell your whole body hurts at that point, and then your brain just starts going cross-eyed inside your own skull. There's little tricks.